This is the book of Tobit, chapter 4, verse 12, and it reads, Beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers, and take not a strange woman to wife, which is not of thy father's tribe. For we are the children of the prophets, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, Yahawashi. Remember, my son, that our fathers, from the beginning, even that they all married wives of their own kindred, and were blessed in their children, and their seed shall inherit the land. Barak Yahawah, Barak Yahawashi. Barak Yahawah, Barak Yahawashi. Barak Yahawah, Barak Yahawashi. Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone who teach one and rule, who taught me this truth. Peace and salutation to the Aki and the fellow laborers, the hopeful elect, pushing this truth at risk of their own lives through the four corners of the earth. To the Ak with listening, learning, Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. It's your brother Shema from the Pillars of Benjamin camp here in Toronto with another lesson. We'll get right into it. Right? It's a precept I was meditating on this morning, Tobit chapter 4, verse 12. And it reads, Beware of all whoredom, right? Fornication. Right? Spiritual fornication. Idolatry. We look into 1 Thessalonians 4, verse 3. For this is the will of Yahawah, even your sanctification, separation, that ye should abstain from fornication. And we look in this word fornication. Right? So when you run after idols, spiritual fornication is adultery, man. Right? You commit adultery physically, it's adultery. Porneia.
Strong's G 4202. Parnaya.
Right? Porneia. Sounds like porno. Illicit sexual intercourse, adultery, fornication, homosexuality, right? That's on a physical level. Lesbian is intercourse with animals, bestiality, etc., right? The worship of idols, or the defilement of idolatry, as incurred by eating the sacrifices offered to idols, right? So be wary of whoredom, spiritual fornication, running after idols, physical fornication. My son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers. Chiefly, you look at this word chiefly, it's first. Right, let's Romans 3. Romans 3 verse 2. Con. Much every way chiefly, because that unto them were committed the oracles of the Most High. You look at this word chiefly for edification's sake. In the Greek, proton. Let's get it.
Strong's G 4412. Proton. Thayer's Lexicon. Protos.
Right. First in rank. Right? In this context, first in rank. Okay? Because you got shaft only, so-called black only Israelites out there. They'll say, see, only a wife of the seed of thy fathers. This is just stating that an Israelite woman has higher rank than a wife of the other nations. Beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers. Right? She got to have that first rank. And take not a strange woman to wife, which is not of thy father's tribe. Right? A lesser wife, concubines, wives of the other nations. For we are the children of the prophets, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, Yahawashi. Remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning, even that they all married wives of their own kindred, and were blessed in their children, and their seed shall inherit the land. Right? Seeds of the father. Right? No matter what the wife is, the Israelite father, Israelite son, Israelite daughter. Deuteronomy 21 verse 10. And here's proof that there's lesser wives. And it's called domestic relations. Right? This cuts, you know. This scripture is just establishing that there's a higher ranking wife. She has to be of the tribes, seed of thy fathers, one of the 12 tribes. And then there's lower ranking wives. Deuteronomy 21 verse 10. When thou goest forth to war against thine enemies, and the Lord, all caps Yahawah, thy power hath delivered them into thy hands, and thou hast taken them captive, right? Other nations, you've taken them captive, you've conquered them. And seest among the captives a beautiful woman, right? A beautiful woman of the other nations, and hast a desire unto her, that thou wouldest have her to thy wife, right? You want her, you want to go in unto her, right? Then shalt thou bring her home to thine house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails, and she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off her, and shall remain in thine house, and bewail her father and her mother a full month, right? She's going to mourn the losses of her family, father, mother, right? And after that, thou shalt go in unto her, right? So she's going to come into your home, put off her idols, put off her ways, the ways of her family, the other nations, right? Mourn the loss of her father and her mother, right? And what does it say here? And after that, thou shalt go in unto her. What's that? Sex. And be her husband, and she shall be thy wife, right? Woman of the other nations, lesser rank, right? 1 Kings 11 verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women, right? Women of the other nations, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, woman of the Moabites, Ammonites, Moabites, so-called Chinese, Ammonites, so-called Japanese, daughter of Pharaoh, Hamites, Edomites, so-called white women. This is King Solomon right here, man. Sidonians and Hittites, of the nations concerning which Yahawah said unto thee, Salakia, of the nations concerning which Yahawah said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their power, Salakia, after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love, right? So King Solomon had women of the other nations, man, right? And our power, Yahawashi instructed us, stay away from these women because they'll turn your heart away, right? You start running after their gods. There's an account in Nehemiah. Mixed marriage is forbidden. Nehemiah 3. In those days also saw I Jews, Yahawah, that had married wives of Ashdod, of Ammon, and of Moab, right? Israelites that married Israelite men that had wives of other nations. And their children spake half in the speech of Ashdod, and could not speak in the language of Yahawah, right? In the Jews, in the so-called Jews, in the Jews' language, ancient times, Yahawah, right? Salakia, for the twisting of the tongue, right? In the Jews' language, right? Yahawah, ancient Hebrew, but according to the language of each people, right? So this is an example of the fathers having children with women of the other nations, right? And here Nehemiah is seeing that these children were speaking the tongues of their mothers. Verse 25. And I contended with them and cursed them and smote certain of them and plucked off their hair and made them swear by the Most High, saying, ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take the daughters unto your sons, or for yourselves, right? So this is an example of other women, right, turning your hearts away from Yahawashi. These children are Israelites. Verse 26. Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things? Yet among many nations was there no king like him, who is beloved of his power, and Yahawah made him king over all Israel. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish woman cause to sin, right? Let's look at this word, outlandish woman, right? Outlandish, right? They turned away King Solomon's heart, right? Right, and we're in the land of our captivity. There's mixed marriages everywhere, man. Heathen women with Israelite children, right? A regular occurrence here in today's society. Outlandish, Nakri,
Strong's H5237. Nochri. Nochri.
Right? Foreign, alien, right? Foreign woman, unknown, unfamiliar, harlot, right? So King Solomon had women of these other nations, man. Foreign alien women, right? Like I was saying just now, in this captivity, there's Israelite children with heathen women out here, man. But it's our responsibility, returning to our power, Yahawashi Shai, seeking them 10 times more. We got to teach our children the names, the laws, statutes, commandments, right? Otherwise, we're likened unto these Israelite men in the time of Nehemiah, man. Right? Exodus 34, verse 11. Observe thou that which I command thee this day. Behold, I drive out before thee the Amorite, and the Canaanite, and the Hittite, and the Perizzite, and the Hivite, and the Jebusite. Take heed thyself, lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land whither thou goest, lest it be for a snare in the midst of thee. Right? You start dealing with these, you start popping these heathen women, it could become a snare. Take heed, our power is saying. But ye shall destroy their altars, break their images, cut down their groves, right? Their altars, their idolatry, their harlot houses, their churches. Verse 14. For thou shalt worship no other power, Salakia. For thou shalt worship no other God. For the Lord, all caps, Yahawah, whose name is jealous, is a jealous power. Lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they go a whoring after their gods, and do sacrifice unto their gods, and one call thee, and thou eat of his sacrifice. Right? And there's 2/3 of our people today, man, caught up in Renaissance plantation Christianity, worshiping idols, doing abominable things. Then their children also, right? And thou take of their daughters unto their daughters go a whoring after their gods, and make thy sons go a whoring after their gods. Right? So the Most High Yahawashi Shai was saying, these women, these other nations, the ways of the other nations will seduce you. Right? Deuteronomy 7, verse 1. When Yahawah thy power shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and hath cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when Yahawah thy power shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them, and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, no covenant, no agreement, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of Yahawah be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly. Right? So, going after these outlandish women, right, cause you to wander in the ways of the heathen. 1 Corinthians 23, verse 14. Now concerning Moses, the man of the Most High, his sons were named of the tribe of Levi. The sons of Moses were Gershom and Eleazar, right? So this goes into Moses had had 2 sons with a Midian, Ethiopian woman, right? But his sons were still Israelites. If we look into Numbers 11, where's it Numbers 12? Numbers 12, verse 1. And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman, right? And we just read in the previous scripture, his sons, 1 Corinthians 23, verse 14. Now concerning Moses, the man of the Most High, his sons were named of the tribe of Levi, right? So, heathen woman, Israelite son, Israelite sons. Numbers 1, verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the 2nd month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward by their polls, right? The pedigree goes back to your father. It says here, by the house of their fathers. Look in this word pedigrees, for edification's sake. Pedigrees, and they declared their pedigrees.
Strong's H3205. Yaled. Yaled.
Khan, to bear, bring forth, beget. To bear, bring forth, beget, to be born. To be born. Right. Day of birth. Declare one's birth. Right. Pedigree. Bring forth children. Right. You get the gist. Right. The pedigree of their fathers. Israelite father, Israelite children. It can't be the other way around. Israelite woman and a father of another nation. That's a tear. Numbers 1 verse. I think that's it. I have another one. Numbers 1. I think there's another one here. Yeah. Numbers 1 verse 2. Take ye the sum of all the congregation of the children of Israel after their families by the house of their fathers with the number of their names, every male by their polls. Right. House of their fathers. There's one in Genesis. Let's get it. I think it's Genesis 27. The sons of Joseph were bare unto him by the daughter of an Egyptian priest. Can't remember his name. Salakia. Spelling it wrong. Salakia. It's in Genesis. Khan. Genesis 41. Khan. Genesis 41 verse 50. And it reads, the title is the sons of Joseph, one of the 12 tribes. And unto Joseph, right? Joseph is interchangeable, Manasseh and Ephraim, right? So many instances where the tribe of Ephraim and Manasseh is referred to as Joseph, and vice versa. And unto Joseph were born 2 sons before the years of famine came, which Asenath, the daughter of Potipharah, priest of On, bare unto him. Right? They were Egyptian. Their mother was an Egyptian, and Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh, for Yahawah said, He hath made me forget all my toil and all my father's house. Right? And the name of the second called he Ephraim, for the Most High hath caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. Right? Ephraim means to be fruitful. Right? So, Israelite father, heathen woman, Israelite children. But Khan, that's it on oh yeah, one more on pedigrees. John 6 verse 42. And they said, Is not this Yahawashi? Matter of fact, let's read about 41. John 6 verse 41. The Jews then murmured at him because he said, I am, red letter, I am the bread which came down from heaven. Yahawashi said this. And they said in this, Salakia, and they said, Is not this Yahawashi, the son of Joseph? Right, so they knew who his father was. They knew Yahawashi's pedigree. Lineage, right? Whose father and mother we know. How is it then that he saith, I come down from heaven? right? I came down from heaven, Salakia. So lineage was important, right? You look at Matthew chapter 1 verse 1 through to about the right the pedigree of your fathers, right? The genealogy of Yahawashi and Mashiach, right? And it goes through from verse 1, the book of Yahawashi, Salakia, the book of the generation of Yahawashi and Mashiach, the son of David, the son of Abraham, right? And it goes right through from Abraham, right, down to verse 16, right? Lineage. Khan. But yeah, that's it on that. Stay prayed up. Prayed out ceasing. Kwame Asharala. Wa Abar. Baba. Shalom.